I just went and deleted everything so that it can begin downloading again because it wasn't for a while downloading videos. All right, let's get started. My notes are actually on my phone. Part of my notes. So we got Christy on the line. So guys, I hope you guys are inspired. I am. I want to run some statistics with you guys. So first of all, hang on. Let me manage the participants. Okay, there. Oh, and just a quick blurb, if you haven't gotten your birthday cake shake, grab it and be reaching out to your product users because it's going to, Scott's in training. It's gonna fly off the shelves. I bet it'll be gone tomorrow. It went so fast last time. It's clearly a blockbuster shake. So let's get started. So guys, tonight is kind of a closing and recap of this first cohort of future Isagenix executive training. One thing I've learned is that we continue to refine and to build and continue to move forward with everything that we do. And one of the reasons I was excited about this call tonight is because a huge piece of it is going to be talking through your feedback after I go through everything that we covered in this overview. Some of you came in a little bit late, so maybe you missed the back half of it. And the exciting news is we're going to take all the feedback and we're going to fold it into Training 2.0 with a lot of our leadership team that's going to help support this. And so it fires me to freak up because I look at your faces and I see the people on the line tonight. I see Laura's eyes. I see Maeva. I see Jennifer and Terry. I don't see Terry and I don't see Louisa and Christy, but I know you're there. And you are the future of this team. Like, you are executives, all of you in my mind. And it's no doubt that if we continue to do this, and what happens is every couple of months, as you're taking action, you're bringing in new people. Ultimately, you're going to be a part of this leadership team that's contributing to training your new people that come in, right? And every couple of months, we'll have a new cohort and we'll have things we want to tweak and things we want to add and things we want to take away. But the point is, it's a freight train that's moving and it's not stopping for anything. And so every 2 to 3 months, we're going to reset, restart, reset, restart. That doesn't mean that if you jumped in a portion of this or you were in the whole thing of it, but you want to go back and do it all over again, you can. But what I'm going to ask is that you begin to contribute as the leader that you are, that you begin to give your insights and engage from a leadership perspective, because every single one of you has the ability to be a 2-star. You're 2 to 3 stars. Like, in my eyes, any one of you on the line tonight in the next year is a 6-figure income earner. You are. Any of you could be. Any of you. It's in my own vision board that before December that I have at least 2 new 2-stars on the team. And this isn't for me, it's for you, right? Like, you guys, there's so much inside of you and so much potential that you all have. Any of you could be 2-stars by Christmas. Any of you could be 6-figure income earners and are 6-figure income earners if you continue to plug in and you continue to stay engaged. You will be leading these calls. And before you know it, your team is going to explode and you're going to be so glad that we're doing this because you're going to be able to funnel your team into doing this. I've got some leaders now like Jennifer Bartram and Louisa and Dawn and Christine Manukin, who've been in recruitment mode and have had some huge rank advancements, and they have new people that they're able to funnel into this training while they go about their 9 to 5. But I tell you what, those girls keep it up, and the next year they're going to be doing this full time like Jennifer Bartram and I, and full-time, part-time with full-time pay, right? So I just want to cast that vision to you guys that, stay the course, stay engaged. As you funnel people in, be sure that you're showing up, right? Because people follow your energy, and where you're engaged, they're going to be engaged. Where you throw in your tidbits on the business page, they're going to listen because they know you, right? So let me I want to run some numbers for you guys. With this first cohort that we did, we created 3 brand new consultants, Mike Dodsworth, Scott Garrett, and Terry Lindbergh. We created 2 crystal consultants, Marcy Daltrey and Christy Willis. Christy, I see that you're on the line. We created a crystal manager, Jenny Feeler, who's very close to director right now. We created a manager. Louisa hit a manager during this time frame. I don't want to speak too soon, but Dawn Turner is a half a consultant away from being at director. She has one enrollment to get her there. Guys, that's the power of synergy. That's the power of energy and being folded into a community of people who believe and are pushing and are growing and are doing, right? And so this was just our first training. This was our first one. Lord knows it's going to get better, but we had to start somewhere and just get the cart going down the hill while we were putting the wheels on it, right? So couple of things that I want to, okay, so we announced that. So what I want to do is I want to review with you guys. I want to remind you of all the content we actually covered over the past 3 months, okay? And then I want to share with you what we're looking to add more of based off of your feedback. And then I want to open it up as a roundtable of what you envision there being more of, because the leaders are going to have a call tomorrow. Christine, Jennifer, Dawn, and I'm trying to think who else is going to be on the line. Maybe Louisa. We're going to talk about this 2.0 that's launching next week. So we want your feedback now because I've already been building the program off of what we've already done and your feedback. So here's the deal. This is what we did. Just a recap for you guys with everything that we covered in this time frame. We did a global exec tool review. So walked everyone through the tools, the websites, how to use them, how to leverage them, whether it's for prospects or training on the business. We spent some time getting to know each other on one of our first calls. We broke out into individual group, smaller teams to get to know our smaller teams and have that conversation. I did an overview of the power of 10. So even before the pencil pitch was out by Susan Miller, I walked through for you guys how you could make 6 figures with this company. And I'm finding that the more I do that and the more I actually get a pen out and circle and draw things for you guys, it begins to resonate and creates more confidence in the compensation model. So I will really hone in on that on the next group. We talked about what drives you. So I think, that was very early on with Peter Kelly and really channeling and digging deep. And why are you here? Like it's 8:30 at night on a Wednesday. Like, why are you here? What's driving you to create this life and this opportunity in front of you? We did some goal setting. I think some were more committed to that than others. I know all my direct enrollments sent me, and I have them written down, all of their financial goals for 2019, as well as teaching people how to identify what their crystal deadlines are, their crystal manager deadlines, their crystal executive deadlines, crystal director, and so forth. And I think in the future training, I figured out how to do share screen Facebook Live. You guys saw me try it the other day. I'm going to incorporate a lot more of those in 2.0 because I feel like you guys are getting this like bolus content all in one call. But I think we can break up the training into some simple Facebook Lives where there's a screen share showing you how to do things like find your crystal deadlines. So that when your new people come in and they're like, well, I don't know where to go or what to do, you can tag them on that video and it'll take them to how to find that crystal deadline. We talked about creating networks. We walked through, putting pen to paper and brainstorming who are your 100 first people. And then we got really uncomfortable and started messaging them. And I challenged you to continue that daily. Now, I'm not sure who all has continued to do that or not. I tend to, fortunately, unfortunately, I work in waves. where I message and recruit and I get a heat of people. And then I feel like I have to stop and nurture and coach those people before I go back out and recruit some more. But I think when you're first getting started, where a lot of you guys are, it's important that you're reaching out daily, that you're networking daily, because you don't have this large organization that you're also trying to coach and lead. And I'm not trying to give myself an excuse for not recruiting, but my focus ebbs and flows based on kind of my class, if that makes sense. But so we talked a lot about that. We practiced our 30-second stories. I think that was huge for everyone. We did the Facebook Lives where everybody shared their stories, and you guys got to hear your teammates on how to do 30-second stories. We went through verbiage on messaging, how to reach out, how to connect. The feedback I got is that we could have had more training on, okay, I got a bite, now what do I do, right? So like, I gave you some messaging and ways to create interest and how to create your own brand. But then when you have interest, where do I go with that, right? So that was some of the feedback that I got that we'll spend more time on in 2.0. And we talked about branding. I really challenged you guys to think through who you are, who you want to attract, what do you want to represent. And we talked about objection handling. So that was a really good call, and I think we'll totally continue to stick to that. We walked through the leader in action formula, which is the base of and the foundation of this company, no matter where you are, if you're an Isagenix millionaire or you're just starting out. Louisa has to jump off we'll catch the reset. We talked about compensation. Everyone had homework to review compensation. Again, I think we could have spent more time on that. And so that's a recap of, just to remind you guys, just a tickler, like brain reminder of what we did review in the first 3 months as a new Isagenix associate. So where we're going from there, and then I'm going to open it up to your feedback, is some things that were asked were to incorporate more product training. Which I totally get. I think sometimes those of us who've been around a while take it for granted. And then especially if you have a clinical background, you just kind of pick it up and then it's second nature. I know Martin was asking about that, and so was Mike. And so one of the things I think we can do twofold. Part of it is supporting this training, but also we can fold that into the larger Run With Me team that we've been doing. Mike, thank you for volunteering to share about product again on our Sunday night call. But I think that what we can do on our 2.0 training is infuse weekly a product highlight. And I'm going to lean on our leadership team and some of you on the call, because you're leaders, you're here, like you're showing up. And one of the best ways to become a product expert is to go nominate yourself to teach on a product, right? So one of the visions I have for this 2.0 is that once a week there's a product feature, and we'll take turns highlighting product. You can either do a Facebook Live, or you can share a link and do an editorial, write up on the feature key features and benefits of the product that you're talking about. So some other things were just the how-tos. There was a lot of questions around how-tos, or I had questions about, making sure everyone knows how to use the tools. So for instance, some don't know how to search files on Facebook pages. Some may not even be aware of the plethora of resources we have at our fingertips with some of the business pages that we have. So I can do quick clips and videos on some of that stuff on Facebook Live, and some of our leadership team is going to as well. A back office overview. We didn't do that this go around. I've done that before. I think there could be a back office level 1 and then a back office level 2. So like a back office level 1, just understanding kind of the lay of the land of your back office and where to identify your enrollments and placement of people on your team. But then 2.0 could be walking you through, okay, now like managers and above, let me walk you through some reports and how to pull them and how to assess your business, right? So that was some feedback that I got. And Yeah, so I'm going to stop there because I want your insights on what you want more of, what you wish you'd gotten more of, and thoughts from all you badass 2 and 3 stars that are going to pop this year. Who's going to go first? Tell me what you need. Tell me what your people need that you're going to be bringing in for training. What do you feel like you're missing? Mike, you're on mute. Somebody's talking. Who's talking?
Sure. Okay. All right. Now I'm unmuted. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Laura.
I was going to organization.
Okay.
Like how to organize my people. I was going to use, what is it, Asana?
Yes.
But I can't get mine to work on my Chrome. I'm not sure it's just a technology thing.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of you have Macs, and I have Chrome, so going back to it's a little dumb. So I think maybe just learning how to organize better to go back so I can learn how to visit the people I've already spent time with and just need to follow up on.
Oh my gosh. And you're like reading my mind. I've already put it into the curriculum for the next 2.0. I've reviewed it with the team before. So you said you have a Mac, or you have, what do you have?
I have a book.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if it's a difference in formatting, but I know I actually have that in the 3rd month with this next cohort to train on Asana. And I've done some training on Asana before. There are some YouTube videos on it. And then if you search Global Exec on the Global Exec Facebook page, there's some Asana training too. But no, Laura, you know what? I agree with you 100%. I didn't discover Asana until this year. And it has brought me a tremendous amount of business just because it's kept me organized. It's my peripheral brain. It's kind of like I just had a bunch of messy Excel spreadsheets up until this year that were like, I'd have like multiple sheets, and it was always a jumbled mess, and I was trying to keep it organized, but it was really hard to. And then later on that, when you're working full time, and you have a whole nother career, it becomes just really messy. Louisa, I think, had to jump off, but she could speak to it. She and I both use Asana, and it's been a godsend. It's created a lot of like follow-ups and leads for me just because nothing has fallen through the cracks. Nothing. So yeah, I can appreciate that wholeheartedly. And maybe we can have some people on the team just share some organizational facts and ideas. I know I've done just from like a broader scale organization, not just prospects, but just like your business in general, like what percentage of time should I be doing this, this, and this? I've done presentations on that have been recorded from like Cepeda Expresses in Charlotte. I've done them a couple of times. I know there's at least 1 or 2 that are recorded and posted in the Global Exec Facebook page that you could probably dig and find. So great points, Laura. Anything else, Laura?
No, I have a list that's kind of a work in progress as I'm thinking of things. So yeah.
Okay.
Your turn.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I had mentioned before more training when I, visualize trying to sign somebody up. If my product training was really sucked, and I had more in-depth knowledge about, let's just say the performance line, that's kind of my sweet spot. That's kind of what I know the most about, but maybe some of the other things, depending on who I'm talking to and what their needs are, if their needs are weight loss, are their needs performance oriented, or maybe they're just looking for, some of the oils and some of the beauty products we sell. Mm-hmm. And so I guess I kind of envision a scenario where each training session, maybe you would take like the first 5 or 10 minutes, let's say, highlight a different product or 2 products, maybe take 10 minutes and highlight 2 products in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Here's what these products contain, and here are the types of people that could really benefit from these products. That way, you know, with that, armed with that knowledge, then you could say to yourself, all right, you know, if I've got people in front of me, all have different needs, you know, now I can, you know, tailor my presentation or my talk track to them more specifically, because I'll be able to tell based on what their needs are, bam, you know, this product over here, this product over here.
Yeah.
And so, and I just think somebody, I was reading a thread today, somebody was talking about, and I think I was going to maybe mention it on the Sunday night call. I forget who it was. Was it Terry or Dawn or somebody meant that they would like to have more information about the like 100 BV pack, so to speak. And I actually had one of those. And if you think about it, one of the biggest barriers to getting people to sign up is cost, right? So if you could say to them, look, if you'll spend $150 and 100 BVs, and if you're interested in, let's say, performance, if you'll order these 3 or 4 things, I think you'll notice a difference in your performance. You'll certainly like the way the shakes mix up, if they're the packets, for instance, or the way the bars taste, or the consistency, you know, whatever it might be. You know, I'm kind of thinking out loud, but, you know, when I read that today, I thought, well, you know, that's a great idea if we had a 100 EV strategy, you know? And I think we could sign more people up, because I've noticed in the 3 months that we've been here, you know, we started off with the 100 BV pack, and we really like those products. And now we've branched out, you know, and Diane alone is probably placing 3 or 4 orders a month for bars and for, you know, shakes. And, you know, we're branching out into some of the other products. We, you know, find time to research them. And so there's sort of like a natural evolution process that's happening here.
Yeah.
You start out, get people in on the 100 BV pack. They like those 3 or 4 things. They get comfortable with it. And they say, you know what, I really like these. Why don't I try this product or that? And before they're ordering 3 or 4 times a month. And so you kind of got them. After 3 or 4 months, look at us with what we're ordering. It's probably the same thing as bringing somebody in on a pack, but we wouldn't have come in on a value pack because it was too expensive. We came in on, you know, the 100 BV pack.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, you know, maybe, you know, you think about corporate and marketing promotions. Could corporate even come up with some sort of we're going to call it our 100 BV. Here's what we want to get people who have cost concerns or are leery about joining. We're going to talk to them about the 100 BV pack.
So you nailed it. So real quickly, I love what you're saying, and I want to show everybody really quick.
Yeah.
Because they have. And 2 things, because I love where you're going with this, and I've like my mindset has evolved on this. Y'all, the cycles are insane right now. I'm already at 31 cycles on Wednesday with the cake release. I'm super excited. Seasonal releases are incredible. Some of you guys are going to pop 5 cycles and 1 star this week. It's incredible. Okay, sorry, I digress. So if you go to the packs, I'm going to show you guys real quick. Corporate has put together some 100 BV packs. Hang on. We found them the other day when I was on the phone with so here's Everyday Health. Okay. So Everyday Health is 2 canisters of shakes, Ionics a day, and 1 Plus for life. And then there's a sample pack. So to your point, Mike, this is kind of your gateway. Like that shaker bottle has protein bars, e-shots, some electrolyte drink in here, just to give you a sample. Then there's the shake and isogenesis. And that one's 110 BV. This is the Forever Pack. It's famous in the Midwest. It's made people millions. The concept is like, what's the number one meal people skip or screw up in the United States? It's breakfast. So you get someone started on the shakes once a day for a month, and they pop in isogenesis, which is phenomenal for just slowing the progression of aging, and just all kinds of oxidative health. Like who can't commit to a shake a day and popping isogenesis every day? Like it's a no-brainer. So that's a good one. And then there's the everyday shake. And so that's just a shake every single day, twice a day, I guess, because it's 4 canisters of shake. So Mike, I would love for you, if you want to look into that and just share with people on Sunday, hey, there are these 100 BV packs, and here's who they might, qualify. But I also think, to your point, there are a bunch of customized packs that you can make. If you search on Global Exec Team Facebook page, Helen Costa Giles posted a couple of months ago a number of different types of formulations of shake. And she even named them based off of what you're trying to achieve with the shake. That would be, let me see if I can, well, I'm not going to pull it up right now, but if you go to the search function here, you could probably type in Helen Costa Giles, and she was an Isobody winner. I don't know if you recognize the name, but she's on our GET team, but she also won Isobody. And she put together, she's famous for doing this, putting together 100 BV packs, and she has them for teenagers and all kinds of stuff. And maybe you can look into that, because I would love to hear about that. I think the whole team would love to hear about that this week, this Sunday.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I would emphasize is that, the whole 100 BV idea, you can customize it any way you want depending on what that person's needs are.
Yes.
And I just think it's a great way to get more people trying the packs. If I'm in on a 100 BV weight loss, BV pack for performance, or 100 BV pack for, beauty and skin, or whatever it might be.
I agree. And what I love that you said about the product highlight is maybe we could have a format that each week when there's a product highlighted in our feed, we follow the same format, that hits on the category of what's in it, who's it for, and maybe the health benefit. So, make it real simple so that each week when someone's responsible for highlighting something, it's real simple, and concise, and helpful. So 100 BV sets you free. Preach. Amen, sister. All right, what else? What else are you guys wanting more of? This is your chance to have a voice on the training for next month. Sorry, Maeva, I think I accidentally just muted you. You can unmute yourself. I had a lot of background noise. I was just muted everybody. There you go.
Okay. Well, I have a few points.
Yeah.
I agree that I need the organization tool, because I don't know right now. I don't have a system for follow-ups and things like that. So I definitely need help with that. I need to know, again, you already addressed some of this, so I'm just going to recap what I need. The tools we have a plethora of tools. So I kind of need better organization even with the tools, like when to send somebody to which tool to be more helpful, because when you have so much, it's almost like not having enough because you don't know where to go.
Right.
And something, I think it was you, I can't remember if it was you or Jen when we were on Annex. Someone had, on your phone, you have a lot of in categories. So she just went to the notes and would send an email or something based off of something that was already stored in the phone. So something that will, all of that will be helpful, because especially for me, I have a lot going on, and until I can get to the point where I can scale back, I have to have a lot going on. So I need to be as organized and precise as possible, because I have to use this in the pockets of my time. But the difference between before and now is I want to do it in the pockets of my time. I just need to be more efficient.
Yeah.
And then.
So let me address this really quick, but I wrote it down, and I think fair point, and for sure we'll talk about it. Amanda Ham is queen of organizing everything in notes on her iPhone, like all of her scripts, every video, anything that she has ever used, she has saved in the notes section and has different headers for them, and it works for her. She's a mastermind at it. It drove me crazy because it was a cluster of I just needed it more organized than that. So it just depends on your personality. I have found this past year that my saving grace has been to exclusively build, coach, recruit from the Global Exec team page. So I use the Global Exec, .com training page for anyone that I enroll, whether it's for product or for business, because step 1 through 3 is all about product and getting started, right? And then the rest of it is about training. So you guys will find, as we fold in all of our training, all of my links that we go through in training come from the globalexecteam.com page. So that as your organization grows, because you guys are going to grow massive teams, and you're not going to want to have things in 1,200 different places. So it's really important, I personally think, to stick to one tool. So yeah, there's probably 3 different places, a million places I can pull videos for cost objections. There's a million places I can pull a script for social media. There's a million places you can even pull the exec map to exec PDF. You can Google it. However, I know where all of it is on the Global Exec team page, and I copy the web address exactly where it is. So like if someone new that I've enrolled is having issues with cost objections, the first thing I'll do is go to the Global Exec team page and copy the link directly to the video on cost objections and send it to them and say, hey, check this out. 3 years ago, I knew of like 10 different great cost objection videos on YouTube from my favorite people from Execs that I would send my team. The problem was it wasn't duplicatable because I knew where it was, but they didn't. And when they got started with the business, they weren't sure where to go, right? So I think you can fall into a rabbit hole when you're saving a bunch of crap on your phone because your team is not going to be able to duplicate that. So I would default to the globalexecteam.com page for all things with people you've enrolled. Now, for prospecting, again, I exclusively use one website. Some people use 2. I only use the getfree.global website. I don't even use the Get Fit page at all because it just creates too much confusion because now there's 2 websites. If you go to the getfree.global website, there is a ton of information about the product and why we cleanse and the science behind it and great TED Talks and documentaries. You can feed your prospects to look at, but it all comes from that one web page. There's a lot of great stuff in Isagenix Business Tools, Isagenix Business, but again, you fall victim of using multiple resources, and then as your downline comes in, they get confused. So my piece of advice to you would be, from an organizational standpoint, study the getfree.global prospecting webpage and think about how can I use this as a follow-up with every prospect. There's a ton of information in that webpage. I just need to know where it all is and what's going to resonate with them, whether it's about the science of the product or the business, income opportunity. And then the same thing with onboarding new people that you enroll. If you're really comfortable with the globalexecteam.com webpage, everything's in there. There's even training on how to open up a wholesale account, how to use your back office. It's all there, all there. Yeah.
All right. Is there anywhere, second question, I have someone I enrolled that wants to be a business builder, and she was asking me, she has someone who would be interested in the business, but she's vegan. What product, like what products do we have that will be, I know we have the dairy-free shakes, they vegan, and other products. Where would do I go to isogenicshealth.net to find that, or where would I find that information?
And so this is a great question. And as a follow-up, let me share my screen. I would, first of all, reach out to Louisa Maeva, because Louisa is working with someone who is vegan, and she's researched everything. Okay. It has to be vegan and kosher. So she can answer all those questions for you, but just so that we can be complete here, www.isafyi. These are some tools that I am going to cover in 2.0, our training about tools and resources. Because what I think is more important, and I did this in a video on our training call the other day, is not that you know all the science, not that you know all the products, not that you know all the ins and outs of any of it, but rather you know where to go to find the answer when asked, right? So for instance, so this is ISA FYI. So if you go to the search, and if your prospect is in a different country, do know that the formulations are different. You can select the country here, right? But I go here and type in vegan, and let's see what comes up. So power of plant-based meals. So there's information here about, they've got a new cleanse support kit that's vegan. I didn't know that. No.
Wow.
With wild, because of the wild berry isogenic snacks. I forgot about that. So this is where you'd want to go. Like, this is where I would go. I would type in, and another great place to go is isogenicshealth.net, which has more clinical information. Right. ISA FYI has really good, nutrition profiles and stuff like that about the products. So great question. Know where the tools are. Yeah, a lot of the dairy-free items are vegan. And I think pretty much all of them are. It's a marketing thing. It's just, the scientists talked about this at some point. I remember it has something to do with how they market, and they all have the vegan stamp. But okay, so good questions, Maeva. These are good. This is good. What else?
I know another thing for me, these recordings were great. I mean, the sessions were great, but the days that I couldn't make it, or when you did the LinkedIn, I wanted to go back and replay, and unfortunately they didn't record. So I would like for you to go back and do revisit some of your things again. I do totally appreciate the LinkedIn. I am much better than I was. I never even used it before. I just had an account, and now I'm using it and I'm getting engagement. So that's pretty good. I've inboxed. And there's one thing I wanted to share with everybody. It totally annoyed me. Someone reached out to me on LinkedIn about a web business, and because it's about connections, I wanted to hear what she had to say. So I talked to her, and when she found out I was doing my own thing, she was very abrupt, and I felt very rude, and it left such a bad taste in my mouth that I messaged her, and I said, I thought you really wanted to connect, and there's nothing wrong with connecting, but when you found out that I had my own web-based business, you were very short, and it just made me question your intentions or something. And I ended it very pleasant, like have a nice night or whatever. But I just wanted to put that out there for everyone else, because even if you run across somebody like that where you're not going to be able to do business with them, I still think we have to be classy, and you just never know when your paths will cross again. And it just left such a nasty feeling for me. Like it was almost like a violated feeling, how she was. And I just wanted to put that out as we're all reaching out to people. Just be mindful of that so we don't find ourselves in a place where she was.
It's such a valid point, Maeva, and I run into it on LinkedIn sometimes, not nearly as much as I do on the other platforms. But, remembering how that made you feel, and I think that, many of us are trained that we're in the business of networking. I'm in the business of broadening my network and finding people who may have a common interest, or that we can leverage each other's experiences. I've got a guy who's a financial advisor who wants to meet with me next week. He was very clear in saying, look, I really respect the hustle and what you're doing. I'm really interested in growing my own business right now, but my focus is on younger entrepreneurs like you. And I'd love to just sit down with you and get into your head to help me understand. I'm also teaching people how to create income so they can retire earlier, and you're in the same arena doing it a different way, but I would love for us to just connect, and I can share with you my perspectives from a finance standpoint, and I'd love to get in your head. And so I could have brashly been like, oh, well, he's not interested in my business, so I'm not going to talk to him, and I could have blown him off, but I didn't. I'm still going to be willing to meet with him and educate him, because if he's a financial planner, he probably doesn't really actually know much of anything about residual income and income producing assets when it comes to network marketing. And we'll connect and we'll learn from each other and open our minds to new things. And make a new connection, a new friend. And look, he's a financial advisor. So if he finds that what I'm doing is extremely lucrative and he runs into other people who are clients that are a good match for what I do, doesn't he want them to make more money? Because if they make more money, he makes more money, right? So it could be a good partnership in the long term. But anyway, so I totally feel you, Maeva. We lost her for a minute, but you never know when people are your biggest critics are actually your biggest fans. I've heard this said many times, like they're hating on you harder than anybody. Like they've got to spend more time following to hate you than your lovers, right? Like they're your biggest critics or your biggest fans, like just watching you and wanting you to fail. And when you prove them wrong, they circle around, and it's pretty interesting voyage that we go on. All right, what other pieces of information do you guys want in the next? I got your recordings piece, Maeva. Part of that I just can't control. I try my best, but there are lots of LinkedIn trainings. If you search and Google, like on YouTube, I've done them in the past with the team, and also on Global Exec team recordings. And we'll do it again. Don't worry. We'll do it all again with the next group. Any other thoughts, comments? All right. So this is where, I really challenge you guys to pave it forward. When you come into this next group, I anticipate that you'll all be in there on some level or fashion, engaging, help lead, be a student, but help lead at the same time, because you're going to be a step ahead of this whole new group whose eyes are just wide open next week, that have done, are not exposed to any of this. And be ready to, as you enroll new people, fold them in, bring them into our community so we can help you get them trained. Okay. Super excited and fired up for Dawn because she's about to smash director. I know it. But we'll be together on Sunday with our larger team call, And it's a wrap, guys. I'm excited for next week. It's going to be a lot of fun, and can keep the feedback coming to me, that what you want more of, because this is for you guys. It's to fill the gap and train you outside of what Global Exec is offering on a daily basis. All right? Have a good evening.
Melissa?
Yeah.
So before it's a wrap, I wanted to pose out there, if you're interested in, what I found extremely helpful to help me with the business is, how do you connect belly to belly and lock arms with someone? So how do we do spin sample, whatever you call it, but just really getting and building community has been crazy, because what it does is an excuse to keep reaching out to people. So sometimes it takes 7 to 10 touch points before someone says, yes, let me take a look. So that's been very helpful for me, and I'm able to re-engage people. And as I gain more confidence and have more stories to share, people are more interested. So to your point, the haters are people in the periphery. They want to see what's happening, and this way now they're ready to go with step a toe in.
Yes.
So I think that would be really helpful.
Oh my gosh, it's so true. And I heard this quote the other day. I'm not going to get it perfectly right, but in network marketing, we're in the industry of building gardens. Like, we're in the industry, it's a long haul, and we have to plant seeds, we have to put down fertilizer, we have to water, we have to tend to, and you're going to have good crops and you're going to have bad crops. There's going to be good seasons and there's going to be bad seasons, but what we aren't is a candy shop. And I love this analogy, because in a candy shop, you walk in, you grab your sugar rush and you get it, and you're in and you're out and you're satisfied and you're done. We're not a candy shop. We're in the business of gardening, and gardening takes time, and it takes nurturing, and it takes tending to and following up. We're in the business of relationships. That's what we're in the business of. So I'm glad you brought that up, Dawn, because it is a journey. And I think that I've fallen victim to this myself. When you finally get it, like you get the compensation model, and you're seeing some people around you crush it, and they're doing really well financially, and you see undoubtedly that the financial model works, sometimes we get so fired up and like beside ourselves, which is a good thing, but we forget that we're in the business of connecting, and we're on our own agenda to just plow right through that to create business builders, because we see what we can accomplish, and we forget to respect the process of relationship building and trust and nurture and honor that process. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. It is almost 9:30. It's a wrap. We'll see you guys hopefully on the Get Call tomorrow. Thank you for all this amazing feedback. 2.0 is going to be awesome. We created so many consultants and managers and really soon to be future directors on this first cohort. I think with the next cohort, we're going to see we are going to see the consultants and the managers and the directors popping now are going to shift to manager, director, executive, right? And this new cohort is going to come in and pop consultants and managers. And before we know it, you guys by December are going to be popping 2-star, 3-star, and you're going to be rising up your people that you bring in to pop, to director, to executive. So I'm excited. All right, guys, have a good evening. We'll chat soon.